Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to yet another video. We are discussing more Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint. New information launched about the Gunsmith. Yeah, I know a lot of people were wanted to know more about this. We're going to get into it now. There are a couple videos here in this entire thing, and we're going to go through everything here, guys. If you want to get this info, just Google Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint Gunsmith. It'll pop up. You can go through this on your own. If not, hang out with me. I'm gonna read through everything right now, and we will look everything over. Okay, so here we go. Sat down Q&A. Let's talk Gunsmith. Can you explain the team's vision behind the feature and what's new with the Gunsmith in Tom Clancy's Breakpoint? Okay, so our goal with the Gunsmith in Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint is to offer players as much liberty as they had in Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands, but with a bigger impact on weapon behavior. That sounds very interesting. Let's see what they have in store for us. With the new Gunsmith and weapon system, players will feel how each attachment changes and how the gun operates. It's important to make each weapon and attachment combination feel different. Equally important to us was to offer players an extremely polished visual Gunsmith experience. Each attachment and weapon combination are set up and aligned by hand to perfectly match the individual models and animations of that weapon. So that sounds really cool. A lot of work was probably went into this from the animators and 3D artists and even programmers, just the whole design team. So kudos. Hopefully we could really feel the difference this time around in how we're creating our guns and how we want them to act, whether it's CQC, long range, snipe, or mid range, etc. Okay, so it's important to ensure a consistent high quality visual experience for weapons, which is why not all attachments are compatible with all weapons. Okay, that makes sense. The team's objective is to offer players as close as possible to real life Spec Ops loadouts and all compatible attachments. These were selected based on extensive criteria: weapon category, manufacturer, weapon range, and more. The new weapon mark and dismantle system have been implemented to improve this experience. So this sounds interesting. A lot of Spec Ops soldiers customize their weapons piece by piece, even changing screws to improve their performance. Each weapon has a specific weapon mark progression system with a small stat, upgrades, and passives tied to it. Oh, with small stat upgrades and passive. Okay, so this is interesting. A weapon mark progression system. I wonder how this is going to work. All of the bonuses were tailored to enhance the Spec Ops experience in Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint and were carefully balanced in both PvE and PvP. So now each accessory you have is not only going to probably give benefits or take away benefits depending on what you're adding to what type of playstyle you want. There's also going to be this weapon mark progression system with stat upgrades and passives tied to it. So you're going to have passive abilities. I hope this is actually fun and the passives don't ruin how you want to create your gun. For example, you want to use this one attachment, but this other attachment has a better passive, so you end up using that one. This feature gives a layer of additional depth for hardcore players who love to customize their weapons. So this sounds like a really cool system. Hopefully we'll get more information on this, and in the closed beta maybe we'll be able to see how it really plays out. What will players be able to customize in the Gunsmith? All right, so players can customize the rail, underbarrel, scope, muzzle, and magazine. New options will be added, such as muzzle brakes and IR lasers. Up to 22 different options per weapon will be available, with 57 weapons at launch and 31 weapon alternate versions. That's a lot of combinations. So we're getting 57 weapons at launch, guys. 31 weapon alternate versions. Now, I hope alternate versions doesn't mean green M4, blue M4, purple M4. You know, that we'll have to see. We'll have to see on that. But that sounds really good. It's a lot of guns for all you gun enthusiasts out there. You know, that's going to be really nice. In Ghost Recon Wildlands, we heard the community got frustrated when they were unable to change the attachments on legendary weapons, which is why we made sure to make this possible in Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint. This is true. Legendary weapons, weapons you bought, or weapons that you earned from beating bosses that you got that you weren't able to do anything with them. And for most of the time, I didn't even use those weapons due to the fact that I couldn't really customize them. So this was good. This is very good that now maybe if you're winning, you're getting weapons from bosses or whatnot during the game, you'll still be able to customize them. Are there plans to add more attachments post-launch to offer additional variety? Yes. We will add new attachments with unique behaviors. We will also try to add more attachment variety per weapon category. All this content will be unlockable through gameplay. Why were a few customizable attachment slots in the Gunsmith for Breakpoint not carried over from Wildlands? Removing some attachments allowed for more in-depth attachment modifiers, which grants more complex effects and emphasizes unique weapon variants that are unlocked through progression and exploration. Those variants, called alternates, have unique behaviors, stats, and parts such as handguard, stocks, triggers, and barrels. So we're gonna have a lot more variants with these attachment modifiers. So that's cool, and hopefully each one, if it has a handguard, stock, trigger, or whatever, it'll act differently accordingly. So that'll be really cool. So maybe there is going to be a lot more in-depth custom, not just customizing, but with the customization and how the gun reacts to it when it comes to the Gunsmith in Ghost Recon Breakpoint. So that's cool. Can you talk more about the weapon variants? The variants act differently than their default counterparts, and they will be differently visually and in gameplay recoil. They will also have differences in range, damage, and stability. So that's really cool. That kind of that's similar to what I was thinking when I talked about how the gun should act with a lower model, a higher model, with jamming, not jamming. Obviously, it's not that specifically. That was just an idea. But they're going to have it with range, damage, stability. So maybe your crappy gray M4, it'll shoot maybe a little more wild or won't be as nice, and your blue M4 will have more stability, less recoil, things like that. I don't know if that makes sense to a lot of you guys out there, but that seems like what it's going to be. Because modern weapons can often be customized to transform your classic assault rifle to a CQC or long-range rifle, the goal of the variants is to add more options with the progression layer, the weapon mark system. The team decided to embody that versatility with separated variant weapons, which is why we no longer have stock, trigger, or barrel customization in the Gunsmith, because those attachments are included in the variants modifications. So they're really trying to give a different feel to this Gunsmith this time around. This allowed us to make a lot of improvements. Each variant has new attachment possibilities, something I discussed in one of my videos. I will link it for you guys up here, talking about what I would have done for tiered loot, different types of weapons, and maybe how I would have worked it. So each variant has new attachment possibilities, new fire modes, huge stat and behavior modifiers, and sometimes a different weapon category. So this is really interesting. It's crucial that players really feel the impact of the modifications they choose in the Gunsmith, which I completely agree, or during weapon selection. We focused on quality over quantity. Good choice, Ubisoft. Concentrating on making the choices that are available to players feel very impactful, and that's 100% true. I gotta be honest, 100% of the time when I went into the Gunsmith in Wildlands, and they probably realized this, you just picked the attachment that gave your weapon the best possible outcome with every stat, and you balance that accordingly. Hopefully this time they were able to figure that out with the weapon mark system and the progression, that progression layer for that system, and we'll see how it all plays out. Could you give us an example of how the weapon variant is different from the base weapon? Let's use the 416 as an example. We have the default factory version, which will be the standard. So here's the standard right here. The 416 has 3 variants: Assault, called ASU in-game, CQC, called Shorty in-game, and DMR, called Scout in-game. Each variant redefines the look of the weapon, the basic stats, compatible attachments, fire mode, and weapon mark progression. Do you want to play aggressively? Pick the Assault 416 for versatility and more damage. Fighting indoors? Take a shorty to emphasize better handling and mobility. This is really awesome. I like how I like the direction they're trying to go here, and hopefully it makes sense as well. This is also something I discussed with I believe in my suppressor video. I'll link that up here too, where I talk about someone who's going more Panther should want a suppressor that's more quiet, subsonic rounds, so the sound of the shot is less than someone with a supersonic round, or a suppressor that maybe the bullet can travel farther, and have like a system based off that to make sense if you want to go sniper or Panther. I was trying to work out, come up with a system that works like that, but this seems like they are thinking of it, which is really, really good. Let's see if it plays out well in game. Does each weapon have a variant? No. However, we made sure to provide variants to our more iconic weapons and most of the assault rifles for launch. A variant is almost as complicated as designing and balancing an entirely new weapon, and we want to focus on providing unique weapons that feel distinct. With 31 variants available at launch and more planned for post-launch, we're really excited to see how players dig into the variant customization. So this is really cool how they're going into this. I really just hope that variants and these different types of, I really hope it's just not like gray, blue, like the color, the tiered loot basically. It's like, oh, here's a different variant, but it's really just a different color. That's the only thing I'm scared of, but we'll have to see in game how this really works out. How do variants add depth to the weapon customization experience in Breakpoint? Separating variants adds fantastic depth to some of the most recognizable weapon options. Fans of specific weapon brands or models will be able to create nuanced experiences based on the alternate they choose. Having variant weapons is a great balancing tool and allows for very interesting depth to a player's arsenal without negatively impacting the balance of PvE or PvP. What do we got here? You can wait. Will you be able to color weapon parts individually? Yes, here we go, guys. A lot of you guys, here's more stuff on the Gunsmith that you were hopefully looking forward to. I know a lot of people in Wildlands wanted this feature, and here it is for you. Apparently, you're gonna be able to color your magazine, iron sight, your butt stock, maybe the suppressor. Yes. Players can freely use all colors and camo patterns they have unlocked, which is new in Gunsmith for Tom Clancy Ghost Recon Breakpoint, where each camo had a limited pool of related colors. Players can create some of the more highly requested color combinations, like having a black rifle with tan attachments. That's awesome. So you're going to be able to really deck out your gun this time with the paint variants you want. Will canted sights, reflex, or iron be added? Some players are interested in having this option, but we have no plans to add them currently. We're keeping an eye on player interest for the future. So for those of you who want reflex or iron canted sights, what does canted sights mean? For those of you that don't know, canted sight is a new scope for weapons with a secondary scope slot. Okay, so I mean, I didn't know what a canted sight was. So for those of you that don't know, including myself, here it is. That allows players to quickly switch between equipped sights. Alt right clicks. Canted sights can be used. So I guess I still don't get it. So that's a canted sight. So oh, that's pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome. So you won't have this. This is what a canted sight is. Sorry for you gun enthusiasts out there. I grew up in communist New York, so my knowledge of weapons isn't up to par. I do know what a Super Soaker 50 and a Super Soaker 100. I know the difference between them, as I used to have a Super Soaker 100, so big ups to me. But as far as this type of stuff, sometimes I'm not as knowledgeable. So anytime you want to drop in some knowledge and info in the comments, feel free to. I'm always interested in learning new things. So that would have been pretty cool to have that. But we're keeping an eye on player interest for the future. That's basically if we have the time to do something and build that out, we're gonna do it. But that would take complete you know, I guess new types of programming to figure out. I don't know. We'll see if we get it in the future. Can lasers be mounted on the top rail? In some cases, yes. Particularly if there is enough physical room on the top rail and if the scope you have equipped would not be obstructed by the addition of the laser. For all the cases where there would be a visual obstruction, the laser will default to the side rail. Are there any changes to the shooting sensations like recoil and reloads from Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands? So, are there any changes from what we had experienced the past 2 years? The shooting system has been improved from Wildlands. One of the most noticeable changes are the ballistics. All weapons use their real-world counterpart muzzle velocities. That's cool. This helps emphasize the differences between weapon types and makes it feel more lifelike. Reloads have been improved by the Authenticity team, who motion captured real operators to ensure the animations feel like a real spec op. In Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint, we split reloads between empty and non-empty. You will also be able to unlock a faster reload, which will affect the animations you see. So here we have, this is really cool. So here's the partial regular reload. So you have still bullets there. So there's one in the chamber, he goes right to it. Empty mag regular reload. He takes it, puts it away, cocks it back, cool. Partial fast, he just pops it out and goes with it. Empty mag fast, he still puts it, oh wait. That's partial mag. Yeah, so he pops it out, he doesn't have to cock back. And then empty, he pops it out, but he still has to, cock it back, or whatever that's called. So that's really cool, and this is awesome. I'll link a video for you guys up here if you want to check it out. I had discussed how ammo pools should work in Ghost Recon Breakpoint and how these things should be changed, because in Wildlands you had an ammo pool, and in Ghost mode, if you went through 30 bullets, I thought you should just cycle through magazines. So instead of, if you had 30 rounds in a magazine, use 20, you just lost 10. I thought you should be able to put that away, cycle through all your magazines, and come back to that magazine with 10 bullets. So, and someone in my comments, I forget who, shout out to you, you had mentioned this, where you should have a regular reload and like a fast reload. So if you're in combat, boom, you pop it right out, you put a new one in, and you might lose them. But otherwise, well, not in combat, I guess in maybe heavy situations. I don't know how this is going to work, fast versus regular, how the game is going to distinguish between the two, but I remember someone in my comments saying something just like this, where 1 second you could put it away, and another, if you know things are getting heavy, you would just pop it right out and keep it moving. So that's pretty cool. So weapons have a lot more life during shooting, making them more realistic, but also harder to master. So for example, the weapon's recoil operation mechanisms will affect its movement. So weapons recoil operation mechanisms will affect its movement. That's cool. I don't know how much more of this is new, or if it's just really a lot of verbiage being put in to make it sound cool, but from what I'm seeing with all this, it sounds like the guns may have a little more life to them in how we customize them. So this is going to be pretty awesome. Each weapon has a specific way of shooting that can be learned by players, allowing them to master their weapon in the same way that a real top-tier operator would. Wow, that's really awesome. Recoil and spread are now more predictable. Both can be affected depending on how you outfit your weapon with attachments. We also reworked the weapon sound effects to make the noise more impactful. These changes have been implemented for the closed beta, and we look forward to hearing your feedback. Hey, a lot of you guys, when we were watching a lot of the footage from Gamescom, we had actually commented on how the bullets didn't sound as good as they should have, and a lot of you brought up Modern Warfare, the new Call of Duty coming out. So maybe Ubisoft hadn't really implemented all of that yet, so come the closed beta, we'll be able to really decide for ourselves how the bullets sound. And don't forget to give feedback in the forums or however you want, Twitter, and let them know what you think about how the guns sound. So that's really awesome. So we're going to get to see in the closed beta, well, what they changed here. We hope players enjoy all the changes we made to make shooting in Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint realistic and enjoyable. All right, awesome. So let's take a look at the Gunsmith. We'll come back to this. I have this right here ready to go. Let's take a look at this Gunsmith, right? So right off the bat, oh yeah. All right, so now I had realized, so accuracy, handling, range, mobility, recoil. So they got rid of it in Wildlands. It was accuracy. You know what, let me look for it. I can compare. All right, so I picked this up so we can compare. So we still have accuracy, we still have handling, we still have range. But then we have rate of fire, which they got rid of. Maybe that's somewhere else that we could be explained it. I'm not sure. Where do we see? I'm not sure. Recoil, which they don't have. So they got rid of penetration, unless, I don't know what this means. Is that the magazine size or no? Here's the magazine size. This is our total number of bullets. 3.10 seconds to reload. The caliber. So I don't know what this means yet. If you guys understand what this icon represents, comment down below. Let us all know. Maybe this is a damage modifier or something, and they put, I mean, penetration or damage, yeah, because they don't have any of that here. Damage and penetration is gone from this. So maybe this 25 represents that. It'll be just a number this time. I'm not sure. But as you can see, this was the old style and this is the new. So there is a lot more info, reload speed. So this is cool that they're giving us this type of information. We can make better, we could make better choices when it comes to what guns we want to roll out with for things like this. Okay, so then we have here our passive bonuses. Let's take a look. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, so here's our magazines. Okay, our muzzles. So wait up. Let's go through this slow, guys, because there's a lot. There actually is a lot here to dissect. So as you can see here, reduces inward kick, most noticeably in hip fire. So hip fire, recoil, shot spread. So they're really as you see in the old one, it would mess around this. So is this standard now? Let's see if it changes, or does he select something and it oh, it does. Okay, there we go. So it does still change there. So this compensator, vertical recoil -7, -10 shot spread. So this is really cool. This is really cool. Horizontal recoil, time to aim, shot spread. So everything has its own stats here, as well as affecting things here. So you have the underbarrel. So here's the color presets, which is cool. So he's gonna take the barrel, make it black. So this should be exciting for a lot of you guys. You could really deck it out in different types of colors. This is what was said. We went over this. So this is really cool. Let me know if you're excited about something like this. If you were waiting for this in Wildlands, well, you're getting it now in Breakpoint. So that's awesome. So that seems like basically everything. Here upgrades will be applied on all the 416. So I guess I don't know how this system is going to work, but you will be able to make the gun better. And like they said, your operator gets better with the weapon. So this is what they probably mean right here. As you get better, or maybe as you get points, maybe you could add points. So the same way it worked for putting resources into damage or something like that in Wildlands, basically maybe this resource system will work differently, and you'll be able to do things all across the board, and you could decide how you want it. So do I want more better accuracy? Do I want to reload faster? And this is really cool because how they want it to work in PvE and PvP, I don't know how they're going to normalize these things, but you really will have differences in your play style. So maybe you could reload faster, but someone else has better accuracy or better handling or things like that. So that's really going to be awesome, how you can really determine how your play style will factor into what upgrades you give. Okay, so that's about it for that. Okay, so now let's check out the recoil and spread and the sound effects right here in this video. I opened it up for us to check it out. Okay, let's do this. All right, so there's the 416. Sounds cool. All right, 805. Very interesting. That recoil is crazy. I guess you have to really fight against it, or else it just goes off on its own. There's no That's interesting how that's programmed. So what do you guys think about that? Unless you're fighting against it, you keep going up and up and up. I don't know how that's gonna feel. We really have to see. So yeah, that's all, guys. All right, so that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is all for the Gunsmith, the information we have. Tomorrow we'll all be playing the closed beta. We'll get to play around with things and see how it is. What do you guys think? Are you happy? Are there some things here that you wanted in Wildlands that have now been implemented? I don't know. We need to learn more about this weapon mark system and how that's going to work. But, you know, obviously it's something with, you see, these passive bonuses and, you know, there's a lot here that I think we still need to unlock and discover and discuss. So I'm excited. This was informative. Now, you know, you guys can have a better understanding of what to expect with the Gunsmith. Let me know in the comments how you feel, if you're looking forward to playing around with this type of stuff, if you're excited for the camo system and everything, and what this weapon mark system is going to be. And yeah, we'll discuss it, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I will be streaming the game. If you want to stop by, if you didn't get into the closed beta, stop by, say what's up. We'll hang out a bit. We'll talk shop. We'll see how things feel when we're playing the game. And yeah, that's it. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for stopping by. Hope you're excited. Here's all the info you need on the Gunsmith. If you want to look it up for yourself, remember, just go to Google, Ghost Recon Breakpoint Gunsmith. It'll pop up. Click on the link, read it yourself, and yeah, that's all. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. All right, peace.